Postseason, about a month away. What is the ideal lineup and a couple of guys coming off the bench for the Brewers? Once we get there, that's next year on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey everybody, off day on Tuesday, but we're dropping a podcast here on Wednesday morning. Good to have you along. My name is Chuck Freimund, Locked On Brewers host for the last several years, longtime sportscaster in the great state of Wisconsin, proud host of Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Coming up on the show today, what is my ideal lineup? Guys coming off the bench for postseason. We're making the postseason, right? I mean, we got a 4.5 game lead or whatever it is on the Phils. We're making the postseason. I saw 99.9%, so I'm going with that. We'll also preview Wednesday's game. They've got Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phils. Talk about the Brewers and Quintana making the start. Also made an appearance on a national show, Locked On MLB. Will play a portion of that coming up as well. This show is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the promo code Locked On MLB. $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. Tuesday, man. Day off Tuesday. I didn't like it. In fact, you know what? I feel like this season has just flown by, to be honest with you. I've been so in love with this baseball season so far. And there's been seasons I can't say that about. I mean, obviously last 5, 6, 7 years, it's been really fun, exciting baseball. There's been time in my life like the 2000s, like early 2000s. Man, watching the Brewers was painful and sometimes non-existent. But this, man, we got a month left of the regular season. A month left in the regular season. I'm going to miss these guys when it's all said and done because I love watching these guys play. The effort, and I watched a lot of games on Tuesday night. I was home. I'm here. I'm like, Tuesday night? How come the Brewers aren't playing here on a Tuesday night? Well, by league rules, they had to have a day off. And it just so happens that they decided to play on Memorial Day. They could have had off on Memorial Day, but they wanted the big house on Memorial Day. So they took Tuesday off. Very smart business move on the Milwaukee Brewers, but extended their workload one more day, 19 games, 18 days. Hope those all got, somebody wrote to me today and said, I hope the Brewers enjoyed their spa day today. You know, maybe got a massage, did whatever, and just got some R&R and got away from it because this team certainly deserves it. They've been great for us this summer. But I've watched a lot of games, watched a lot of baseball games here tonight. And one thing that the Brewers do, two things that really stood out while watching I watched the Padres tonight. Watched the Padres against Baltimore. And the Padres, man, they are just, walking out ground balls, that sort of thing, not hustling, going on talent alone. And sure, there's some talented guys on that team. I mean, they got some talented guys. But, man, not working the count at the plate like the Brewers do. The Brewers don't have half the talent as some of these other teams I watched tonight. But when you look at the walks, what did they take? 7 walks the other day against the Phils? How many times? I mean, the Brewers must lead the league in getting leadoff walks and battling back from an 0-2 count to get a walk. I mean, they're so good at it. And I'm watching some of these other teams swinging at bad pitches, giving away outs, doing that sort of thing. I didn't see a lot of bad defense tonight, but just a lot of laziness. And we're a team like Milwaukee, a team like the Brewers outworks some of these teams. And that's why I really like their chances. We're heading into the final month of the season here, and September is a really big month in terms of, well, August is considered the dog days of baseball. Once you get to September, the pennant race heats up, man. The pennant race heats up and the pressure is on. And we'll see if the Brewers are able to survive. We'll see because we've seen in the past, there have been teams that haven't survived. I feel like the Brewers always play their best baseball. And yeah, if I'm going to give Craig Counsell some credit here, Craig Timber, we used to call it, because Craig's teams would rise to the occasion in September. Let's hope that doesn't happen with the Cubs. They're off to a 2-0 start in the month of September, and they won. But a lot to like about the Brewers. And again, may not have a boatload of Hall of Famers on that team, right? May not be Hall of Famers up and down that roster. All right. All-stars, guys like that, guys who stand out, flashy guys, but guys who are a lunch pail group, blue collar. When I say lunch pail, guys who go out there, don't take anything for granted, man, and outwork the competition. And that's the kind of team that kind of resembles our city, our Milwaukee, hardworking city of Milwaukee, and the state of Wisconsin, in fact. And the same thing with the Milwaukee Brewers. They are a hardworking group, and this is a fun team to watch. And like I said, I'm going to miss them when it's over. But we got a long way to go between now and then. So I get asked all the time, and I was on a show in lacrosse today, ESPN Lacrosse. Who's going to make the team? Who's going to make the postseason roster? What do you like? Who do you like? Who do you like at first base and all that? So I kind of outlined it, and we'll kind of go through this a little bit. I'll start at first base. Now, Andrew Vaughn has slumped off here recently. Okay. Andrew Vaughn has slumped off recently. But I'm still going with him as my starting first baseman, unless he falls completely in the tank in the month of September. He's chasing pitches. Okay. Hoskins has not played since early July. All right. He's been at the major league level. All right. I mean, he's been down in Nashville, but I like Andrew Vaughn right now as my first baseman. My first baseman as of right now, September 3rd, I like Andrew Vaughn as my first base. I'm sticking with him. He had a great August for the most part, slumped off toward the end, but I'm going to give him some more time to make some more adjustments here, as obviously the word is out on Andrew Vaughn on some of the things he likes to swing at. But Vaughn is my first baseman going forward. Terang, obviously, superstar in the making. Ortiz is my shortstop. Somebody asked me, should Monasterio be at shortstop? Ortiz is a Gold Glove standard at shortstop. May have not won a Gold Glove, but he's a Gold Glove shortstop, and I like what he did before the break. I know the bases loaded thing people get crazy about because he's 2 of 22 with bases loaded. One of those a grand slam though against the Mets. Durbin, everyday third baseman. I want you know this. I want Durbin as my everyday third baseman, which is weird because back in the wintertime, I had said, man, I don't want a third baseman who's 5'6". Ideally, I want him playing second base in the long run, maybe. And I don't know how Ortiz has got a long term with this team. We'll see. That's my speculating. But Durbin so far, again, blue collar, lunch pail guy. I like Derby as my third base guy right now. No changes, third base. I don't want Ziegler in there at all. In fact, I don't even have Ziegler on my postseason roster. No offense to the guy. He's made some contributions, but Durbin is my everyday third baseman, and I'm never pinch hitting for him. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I don't want Durbin ever pinch hit for. Outfield, Collins, obviously left field. Great. I don't care who's pitching either. Collins every day in the postseason left field. Chourio in center. Freilick at right. Can't argue with me on that, right? And Yelich off the bench as a DH. Now you can play him in the outfield if you need to. If you need to give him some outfield time, that's fine. But my core guys out there, Collins, Chourio, Freilick, and Yelich. Okay, that's who I want to go with. Those are the guys I want to go with. Now off the bench, obviously Perkins makes my team defensively, and I feel like Perkins has got some big hits in him in September. I really do. I feel like Perk is going to has some big hits in him in September. I like his glove, and I think he's good in the clutch too. I know at times he goes through his funks, and some days he's really streaky, or some weeks he's really streaky. But on a hunch, I'm going to take Perkins at the plate in a playoff game. Hoskins obviously is going to make this team coming off the bench. You know, Murphy wants Bowers on this team. I feel like here's Bowers, a guy who signed a minor league deal because the team was going to cut loose with Bowers. Weird how Bowers right now is ahead of Hoskins on the depth chart. We got to wait until next week, maybe, whether or not Hoskins is going to be active, right? they have till September 8th or 9th, September 9th to make a decision on Hoskins. Okay. But I think Hoskins and Bauers, man, I think they'll go with Hoskins, although they want to have that left-handed bat. Monasterio, he for sure makes this postseason roster. There's no doubt in my mind. You play every position in the book, wherever you want to put him. And I feel like he's been clutch for these guys all season long, Monasterio. And he filled in terrifically at shortstop on an everyday basis for this team with the injury to Ortiz. So there you got it. Catcher, obviously, Contreras and Jansen. If I need a third catcher, well, the third string catcher technically is Ziegler, but he's not making my roster. You're going to have to make some cuts somewhere. But I'm going to go with, I'm not going to have that left-handed bat with, Perkins could be my left-handed bat off the bench, but Bauers as my left-handed, Bauers would not be making a start for me at first base at all against a righty or a lefty. Vaughn is my guy there. Vaughn is my guy. Bullpen, I think something we'll go over in the future here. I think there's a lot of undecided questions about the bullpen. Shelby Miller, we got to check out his injury. The Miz seems like he's going to be anchored in the starting rotation spot. I feel like if the Miz is going to pitch in the postseason, maybe have an opener for him. And we got to see how DL Hall's going to do. DL Hall's got to come off the injured list and give these guys some innings, maybe in the postseason. And hopefully McGill, everything will check out with him so we can get him back as well. The tired bullpen, we know that. Uribe, let's see if Uribe can bounce back after a substandard outing for him on Labor Day when he gave up a couple of runs. But Shelby Miller, man, when a guy says he felt something pop in his elbow, my history with this, it's never a good thing. Never a good thing. So there you go. We'll come back and we'll talk about a huge game Wednesday. These next two games of the Phillies are big, right? I mean, the Phillies are right there trying to chase down the Brewers for that top seed. These are huge games with the Phillies these next two nights. We'll talk about the pitching matchup on Wednesday night, for Wednesday night, coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. And with Upside, man, you know you're going to go to the gas station. You know you're going to grab the pump, fill up your car. But here's what you can do. You can get paid for going to the pump with Upside, the Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store, the Google Play Store right now. Start earning cash at the pump. Use my promo code. Limited time for season. Just one season. And you'll get an extra 25 cents per gallon just for your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year just from buying gas. You already need the gas. Take advantage of this Upside, the Upside app. Don't let this offer drive you by, or don't drive by this offer. Download the free Upside app now. Use my limited promo code season. Limited time, 25 cents a gallon. That's promo code season. Offers may vary from user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions with Upside. Trust me, you will make some cash off of that. Also, the show is brought to you by Game Time. Maybe you want to go to the games in Pittsburgh this weekend, or maybe one of the next couple of games with the Phillies. Hey, use the Game Time app, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time, fast, easy, backed by the Game Time guarantee. You always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time for the best price. All fees included, so the price you see is what you pay. No surprise charges anywhere. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. You buy $70 worth of tickets, you pay them for $20. You pay $50 for them. Now terms apply. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download the Game Time app today and take advantage right now. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Our podcast is on Google, Spotify, Apple, wherever you download your audio platforms, wherever you download your podcast on your audio platforms. We are there every day during the week talking Brewers baseball with you, even on an off day on Tuesday. And of course, hit me up on the YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll be dropping an episode every day on Locked On Brewers. Postseason, we'll be going 7 days a week in the postseason. Yeah, we won't be taking off Saturday and Sunday. We'll be here Friday night, Saturday, we'll be here every day. Content. It's going to be a fun postseason, and we'll be here all 30 days if we have to be doing a podcast. Let's see. Coming up, you're going to hear, I was on Locked On MLB earlier with our guy Sully, and he asked me a few questions about the Brewers, and we'll get to that coming up here a little bit. First Wednesday start, Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phillies. He missed several months because of ankle and rib injuries. Coming back, he did have a nice outing on his last start. He's coming in with a 3-7 record, an ERA of 6.47. Nola was once really, really, really good, but he's on the downside, I feel. 32 years old. He pitched well in his last outing. 6 innings and 4 hits. The Phillies hit like 7 home runs that day in the game he pitched, so he got cushioned with a lead. Up against Quintana for the Brewers. Quintana coming off his worst start since joining the Brewers, and that was last Thursday. He did not pitch well at all. Terrible start for Quintana. So we'll see if he can bounce back against Aaron Nola. Suarez and Peralta go on Thursday afternoons, 3:10 start. We'll talk more about that coming up on tomorrow's podcast. But Brewers are a minus 115 favorite coming up. All right, we're going to hear from Paul Sullivan, Sully, on Locked On MLB. I was on his national show. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. I want to tell you about Monarch Money. Monarch Money is the place to go if you want to see where all your money's going. Where are you spending your money? Are you spending your money eating out? Wherever, Monarch Money is going to tell you where your money's going. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together. One clean, easy to use interface, your laptop and your phone, you name it. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. You can identify where you're spending your money. Our house, we spend too much money going out to eat. Monarch Money tells us that. So use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com. In your browser, you get half off your first year. 50% off your first year, monarchmoney.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB and find out where your money is going to. All right, thank you every day, all you everydayers out there, for making Locked On Brewers your first listen to every day. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. All right, here it is, my appearance on the national podcast that we have, and this is called Locked On MLB.
So, Chuck, one of the things that I have brought up with the team, and I'm enthusiastic about this team, especially because I see there are cracks in the Dodgers' armor. There are cracks in Philadelphia's armor. There are cracks, although Philadelphia has shown me a lot by rebounding after the Wheeler injury. But there are cracks in LA's armor. There are cracks in the Mets' armor. There are cracks in the Cubs' armor. This is the most complete team in there.
Padres.
And the Padres, there's cracks in the Padres' armor. They are capping Mizorowski's innings. I've been saying they should be using him to pitch the final 3 innings every 5 games if they want to do that. But right now, Freddy Peralta is a legit number 1 right now, and he's having a fabulous season. Jose Quintana, Quinn Priester. Tell me how tell me how you would arrange the starting rotation and how you would use Mizorowski in a short series. And by the way, also big kudos to Abner Uribe, even though he didn't pitch well against Philadelphia, although the Brewers got hosed with a check swing call. He's done a pretty good job stepping up. 25-year-old kid stepping up in Milwaukee's bullpen.
The rotation, you got Peralta at the top. You got Woodruff. I would use Mizorowski in middle relief. For a game 3 starter, you got Priester, probably. And then if you need a 4th starter, I would say DL Hall, followed by Mizorowski. I'd like to use an opener for Mizorowski.
Okay. Yeah.
Somebody have Mizorowski come in next, maybe DL Hall, if he comes off the injured list and he's good to go. or Ashby or someone like that, and put Mizorowski in the middle innings, and then let him go and see how far you get out of him, and then go from there. That's ideally, I think, would be a great way to do it. Have an opener, but definitely Peralta and Woodruff at the top of your rotation. 1,
Right.
2. You're solid there.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty solid right there. And what are your biggest fears for the bullpen? I mean, you're going to be handing the ball. Is Uribe basically the closer at this point?
Well, McGill is on the injured list. He's coming.
Yeah,
he comes back from that flexor injury, and when he comes back, he's the guy. And then you drop Uribe back to the 8th inning spot. But the bullpen, there's so many different options there. But those are the two main guys, I would say.
Yeah.
I think their bullpen is great. Now the problem is the bullpen has been so taxed. Tuesday was a welcome off day for these guys because the bullpen has been so overused. And this is going way back to April. Right away, this bullpen was overused. So you got that going on. But I think that they're going to be okay in the bullpen. We'll see how they bounce back on Wednesday against the Phillies after Tuesday of having a day off. They played 19 games in 18 days.
So this is definitely a year where just making the playoffs is not enough.
Oh no.
This is a year then, and again, this does remind me of that second year for Kansas City when they surprised everyone as a wild card team, got to within one swing of winning the World Series in 2014, but they weren't going to beat Madison Bumgarner. Who are we kidding? But that second year, when they were the best team in the American League, they didn't sneak in, and it became clear that just making the playoffs again was not going to be enough for that KC team because they knew their window of opportunity was right then and there. And they went on and they forced the Mets to play sloppy ball. They forced the Angels, but they were actually the Angels of the previous year. They forced the Mets. They beat Houston. That's right. They beat Houston, then Toronto, and then they beat the Mets, and the Mets played super sloppy. But yeah, that was a team that was like, no, we have to, this is our year to win it all. Of the National League teams, I know the team that if I were a Brewer fan, I'd be most scared of. But what National League team do you think is the one that makes you go, okay, yikes, here we go?
Well, you always have to fear the Dodgers, but something's missing out of there. The Brewers are 6-0 against the Dodgers this year.
Yeah.
San Diego, I feel like San Diego's got a little complacency in them. Okay. The Mets, definitely an entitled attitude with the Mets. You never know what you're going to get with the Mets. I mean, they can go out and rout the Tigers, and then they can sleepwalk for the next 3 days. The Cubs, Greg Counsell, same thing. They have the sleepwalking syndrome. They can fall asleep during a game and wake up and not get another hit for the next 5 innings. I would say the team, though, probably the Dodgers. I would say because the Dodgers got the winning pedigree. They know what they've been there and done that before. The Brewers have played them with none of these guys on the roster except for Freddy back in 2018 in the NLCS. But honest, I don't think the Brewers. Some of these teams may have more star power, like the Phillies, who came back and beat them on Monday.
Yeah,
I don't think this team fears anybody. I mean, they're great against. They're like 15-3 against first place teams this year.
Well, that's the thing about them, that 15-3 against first place teams is one of the reasons why I'm a believer in this Brewers team.
Oh, sure.
And I do think they're going to win the pennant.
Yep,
I do.
I do think so. I think they're the best team in baseball. As you know, you got to play your best baseball in October.
Right.
You could get to October and stub your toe, which this team has done. I don't see this team doing that. I don't see them having a letdown. I could see them going on and making a deep run. There's a reason why they're 30-plus games over the 500 mark, because they are that good, Sully.
I agree with you. I do. And if I were betting right now, I would bet them to win the National League pennant. I would be afraid of Philadelphia. I think they have the type of offense that a Harper, a Schwarber, a Turner could just go on a rampage in a short series. I think Sanchez is a really good pitcher. I think Luzardo can be a very good pitcher. If Wheeler was healthy, I would say I would still be picking the Phillies to go to the pennant.
What about Walker? Walker's not any good.
No, what? No, but I'm saying that I think that Jenga piece of Wheeler, if they had Wheeler, Sanchez, and Luzardo 1, 2, 3, and then some Suarez, Walker, Nola combine, they're taking a flyer, Walker, Bueller, like some. If Wheeler was there, I would still be picking them to win the pennant.
Okay.
And I think remove him. I think the NLCS is going to be Philadelphia and Milwaukee, and I think it should be a good series. But I think the depth that Milwaukee has is their best quality, and that's why I would pick them. And I wouldn't. And I have no idea what's coming. The American League is so weird. I have no idea what to make of the American League.
I look at American. I saw Toronto this past weekend, and I look and I'm like,
yeah,
that's the best you got over there.
Yeah,
no.
I could make their bullpen right now.
Yeah. I mean,
they won today because they clobbered Cincinnati.
I did. Yeah, absolutely. But I saw them against the Brewers, and I'm like, I heard last week, the Blue Jays are good. They're just like the Brewers. They could do a lot of different things. They play smart and all that. They won on Sunday because the Brewers did not play a very good game. But I mean, the Brewers won the first 2 games of the series. Yeah. And I look at this. That's the best team in the American League. I don't think the American League is not as great as it
it's not.
That's our interview on Locked On MLB. My name is Chuck Freimund. Good to have you along here on Locked On Brewers. Wanted to excerpt, got a little excerpt from the national show and wanted to play that here before we go. Hey, everybody, have yourself a great Wednesday. I'm almost forgetting what day it was because there was no game on Tuesday. Monday, I was thinking, like, is this a Monday today? Because no, Monday was Labor Day. So Labor Day, that day, when you got a holiday there, it kind of messes up the whole week. And then having a Tuesday off day, odd. We're already at the weekend almost, right? Middle of the week already. The week just started. All right, we'll be back here Wednesday night talking Brewers baseball with you. We got to get away. Got to keep an arm's length away from the Phillies. And yeah, the Phillies are a dangerous team. Sully thinks the Phillies and Brewers are going to be in the postseason. In the NLCS, I can see that. Like I told him, I still feel the team would be the Dodgers, even though the Brewers are 6-0 against them. That to me is the team. But like I said, I feel like the Brewers are better than the Dodgers, the Mets, the Phillies, you name it, the Cubs. Brewers are still the best team in baseball. It's going to do it, everybody. Thanks for making us your first listen to every day. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.